So when I talk to my children, they know, on the one hand, their father and I want them to tell us exactly what they're thinking so that we can have a conversation and we can raise them in the way that we want them to be. And we've always told them, as long as you're polite when you tell us what you think, and as long as you're respectful when you tell it, you don't raise your voice, you don't roll your eyes, we'll listen to what you had to say. Now, when you've said what you had to say, you're still grounded, or you may have to be sent to your room, but we want to hear what you have to say. And that has helped us because I think they feel that their thoughts have been heard, even though we disagree. And then it is a little bit easier to say, I'm sorry, you're not going out, or you're going to do your homework, or whatever that thing is. And the end result of that is, even though from about sixth grade until about 15, 16, we definitely had the hair flipping and the eye rolling, it sort of stopped around 16, 17 years old. And our son, who was all the way live, told us when he was about 17 years old, he had nothing to rebel against. Now, he was still a teenager. It was still difficult, but he went through a process of seeing his friends in their homes where they would say things to their parents, and he was shocked. And he would come home and say he was disrespectful to his mother, and his mother let him get away with that, and you would not let. And we never had to do anything to make him see that. It was just a moment where he understood, and maybe it's because my husband is from the South. When we go to visit the relatives in North Carolina, his cousins stand up when an adult comes into a room. They say, yes, ma'am, and no, sir. They're cousins are people who've been raised to be a certain type of person. So my children carry that over. And we've taught our children to say, yes, ma'am, and no, sir. So even in high school, they will say, yes, ma'am, and no, sir. And what they've realized is, it's no skin off their back to say that and be polite, but the response from the adults is so shocked and so grateful that they're able to get things from adults that other kids can't get just because they're polite. And they have realized you can go a lot farther by being polite, and so therefore they are. And they get opportunities because of that. And therefore, when my son now as a college student wants to do things, my theory is, are your grades good? If your grades are at a certain level and you've done what you were supposed to do, yes, you can take the car and stay out all night with your friends as long as you call me once an hour and tell me where you are. And usually 9 times out of 10, they're in somebody's basement, and the mom is upstairs and the dad is in the basement with the kids, but you can stay out past curfew. If I know you tell me that you're in Miss Jeffers' basement, then stay in Miss Jeffers' basement, and then you can do what you want to do. And so the kids don't lie to us about where they are. They don't lie to us about what they're doing. And we try to say yes when we can to stuff that we know is innocent. If there's an all-night bowling party, or if the kids are going to go to the Shake Shack and they're going to, then yes, because your homework's done and your grades are good. So the one time my son missed curfew, and we were furious. He was 17, and so therefore there's a curfew with the state. You have to be in by midnight, and it was 12:20, and we were at the door. We were hysterical. We were screaming. And he said, but there was a girl and her parents weren't at home. And I took her home and there was nobody. I had to wait for her parents to come home because I couldn't leave her out on the sidewalk. She was locked out. I felt like a dog because he was acting as a gentleman in the way I had asked him to. He had told me he was taking this young girl to her home, so I knew where he was. It never occurred to me to ask why he was late, and it didn't occur to me that her parents would be late. So after that moment, I realized if there's a problem, ask. And luckily, he doesn't miss curfew. Now that he's in college, there's no curfew. But he still comes home. He'll tell me, I'm going to hang out with my friends, I won't be home. And he's still in by midnight. So giving him the trust, and then seeing that when, I will tell him, thank you for coming home before curfew. And he was just like, oh, okay. So I think that has gone a long way in our house towards getting rid of problems before they even start. If you show them that you trust them, and then when they don't violate your trust, you thank them for that.